10 bodybuilders who clearly lost their physique when off roids. 1. Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman is a bodybuilding legend with the most Mr. Olympia victories. He won the title 8 times and is one of the names that echo through the sport's history. He retired from the sport in 2007 after securing 4th place in Mr. Olympia. Since then, Coleman has been working on his supplement line and dealing with multiple back and hip surgeries he picked up from all those years of heavy lifting. Over the years, he has lost the gains he showcased during his peak, but continues to hit the gym and lift weights as much as he can. 2. Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler is famously known for winning the Arnold Classic 4 times. He competed quite a bit in the 90s, always cracking the top 10. However, he had to step back from a bodybuilding career after being diagnosed with a kidney disease in 2002, and eventually became one of the bodybuilders who lost gains. After some time, he decided again to compete by inspiring his friend Kevin Levrone, but he can't get the desired result. On October 22, 2019, Flex suffered from a circulatory vascular system problem responsible for his leg loss. 3. Paul Dillett. Dillett was one big monster freak among the freaks. Not only did he pack a ton of muscle during his competitive years, he was shredded to the bone. Dillett competed until his retirement in 2006. His best placing at the Olympia was 4th place at the 1994 Mr. Olympia and 3rd place at the Arnold Classic. Nowadays, Paul Dillett runs his own business and loses all his gain, like many other bodybuilders. 4. Dorian Yates. As a bodybuilder, Dorian Yates was a mass monster. He started competing in 1985 and retired in 1995 when he won Mr. Olympia for the 6th and final time. These days he focuses more on spirituality rather than building the body. How does he look these days? Well, not bad for a 60-year-old, but rather small compared to his glory days. 5. Kevin Levrone. Kevin is the winner of 23 pro shows, holding the record for the most wins as an IFBB professional until Ronnie Coleman set the new record in 2004. For a long time, Levrone maintained his toned physique, but soon decided to return his gains. Despite having been away from competition for well over a decade since he retired in 2003, Kevin officially announced in mid-2016 that he would return to once again compete at the professional level on stage at the Mr. Olympia contest. 6. Tom Prince. In his heyday, Tom Prince was an absolute beast of a man. With an off-season weight of 312 pounds and a competitive weight of 230 pounds, Prince pushed his body past its limits in order to compete at the highest levels of the sport. But it's perhaps that weight disparity that ultimately caused his downfall. Cutting 82 pounds to get down to his competition weight, along with many other factors, caused Prince's kidneys to fail, which ultimately led him to retirement. Since then, his body has completely shrunk, leaving no trace of the massive muscle he once possessed. Prince died of cancer-related complications on February 5, 2022, at the age of 53. 7. Chris Cormier. Another mass monster whose bodybuilding career had an unfortunate ending is Chris Cormier. Chris Cormier first started competing as a light heavyweight in the NPC Teen Nationals in 1987, finishing at 1st place. He competed in 72 IFBB competitions. Of those 72, he was a runner-up 12 times, including 6 times at the Arnold Classic. Unfortunately, he had to step away from the sport after a spinal infection in 2006. After recovering from a spinal injury, Chris Cormier can't resume his career and decided to share his 30-plus years of experience with future athletes. 8. Mustafa Muhammad. Mustafa Muhammad was a bodybuilder who showed great promise. In his 20s, he won 2 world titles outside of the IFBB and looked like he could potentially dominate the competition, but he suddenly retired in 1992 and returned after 9 years in 2001. He competed frequently up until 2006 when he retired at the age of 38 and focused on running his own gym in Vienna. Mustafa Muhammad lost all his gain till 2009. 9. Bob Paris. Bob Paris was a high-level competitor during the 80s and the era of Lee Haney. He was known for his hard, dense, and well-defined physique during his time. Eventually, he would retire from the sport in 1991. Since then, Paris has become a civil rights advocate, has performed in stage plays and on television, and has written a number of books. All his gains just vanished within the few years after his retirement, as he doesn't focus on his body after retirement. 10. Jean-Pierre Fuchs. Jean-Pierre's was one of the mass monsters that started to emerge in bodybuilding during the late 90s. Unfortunately, his career as a competitive bodybuilder was cut short by a horrible squat accident. The accident left his knees severely injured, and he couldn't continue lifting weights the way he used to. As a result, he had to give up his bodybuilding career and lost his gains.